How are you guys doing? My name is Tariq. This is the full body beginner calisthenics workout. First exercise we're gonna do, we're gonna focus on warming up our core. And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do it with hollow body holds. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna lay down. We're gonna make sure our lower back or lumbar spine stays stuck into the ground. As we do that, we're gonna lift our shoulders off the ground and keep our legs elevated as well. We're replicating a handstand position. So as we're doing this, we're squeezing our core, pointing our toes, squeezing our thighs together, and looking up as if we're actually in a handstand. The main portion here is that you want to keep that lumbar spine into the ground, but you'll feel that core activation. If this is too much for you, raise your legs up, like so, while keeping that same posture of having your shoulders off the ground. And we're gonna hold this for 2 sets, 20 to 30 seconds. Next exercise is one of my favorites. It's gonna be a pushing exercise called the PLCH Lean. So the difference between a plank and a PLCH Lean is that when you have a plank, you have your fingers facing forward, your hands are shoulder length, and you're engaging your core like so. But when it comes to a PLCH Lean, you turn your hands slightly outwards to avoid any wrist pain. Keep your arms locked, shrug away your shoulders from your ears, push out, and lean forward. This is classified as a PLCH Lean right here. The more dramatic you lean, the more intense the exercise is. We're holding this for 2 sets of 30 seconds. Our core muscles and arms should be warmed up by now, so we're gonna go ahead and get into our sets and reps. What's the first exercise we're gonna do? We're gonna start with Pike Push Ups. If you don't know how to set up for a Pike Push Up, get your feet shoulder length. You wanna place your hands on the top of your feet and take 2 steps forward with your hands. 1, 2, and on that 3rd step, you wanna make sure they're right next to each other. Additionally, you wanna lean into your hands and take 1 small step back with both legs. After that, we're pretty much in the position we need to start. On the decline, we wanna make sure our head falls above our hands. Boom. Pushing up and back out through the scapula and shoulders. For our next exercise, we're gonna do the tuck planche. And if you can't do the tuck planche yet, feel free to regress it to a normal frog stand. Again, I have my hands shoulder length, turned slightly outwards. I'm gonna keep my arms locked, and I'm gonna tuck my chest into my knees, or my knees into my chest. I'm gonna tuck my knees into my chest. And as I lean forward, lifting my legs off the ground and holding that. Again, if that's too difficult, feel free to just put your knees on, rest them on top of your elbows, lean forward into what we call frog stand. This one's perfectly fine to do. For our next exercise, we're going to do something called the archer push-up. Basically, we're gonna make this bow posture as if we were holding a bow, waiting to release it, and we're gonna do that for 3 sets to 4 reps. Let me show you how it looks. Feel free to regress it to just normal push-ups. This next exercise is called a Y hold. We're going to lay our stomach on the ground, and as we do this, we're going to stick our arms out and make sure that when we flex our core, we're going to lift our lower back or lumbar spine off the ground and pause. Next exercise, single leg RDLs. We're going to keep our working leg forward with a slight bend. We're going to take our arms and reach right below our knee as we sink our hips lower. Then, as we return back to neutral, exploding our hips back into the natural position. We're going to do this with 1 leg off the ground. So, this is obviously a regression you can use right here. But if you have a little bit more of that 1 leg, single leg balance, lift your leg off gently, keep a bend here, Boom. 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 And if you want even more of a challenge, you can keep this leg extended the entire way. Boom. Boom. Reverse lunge jumps, a crazy exercise for beginners. You'll definitely feel the pump and you'll gain explosiveness and you'll feel it all in your leg. So the way we're gonna do this, we're gonna start in this neutral standing position like I am right now. We're gonna reach one leg back, making sure that our hands match the leg that is reaching back, making sure our knee also does not touch the ground. And as we do this, we're gonna explode to the top, boom, right there. That's one. Let's get back into it. If that one's a little bit too intense for you, you're gonna be right here. Static lunges the entire time, making sure your knee gently touches the ground. Nothing wrong with that. We're just gonna build some strength for this. Last skill is the L-sit. If you're having any trouble with this one, check this video out on my page. It'll help you with it. But basically, I'm sitting on the ground, as you can see. I have my hands. I'm gonna place them under my thighs, the top of my thighs. I'm gonna depress my scapula as I push down, and I'm gonna levitate my hips back, basically lifting myself off the ground. If that one's too difficult for you, you can do a single leg lift or even a tuck lift. Get yourself a nice wide base here, okay? We're gonna do archer squats. Basically the same thing with the archer push-up, just in the squat position. So we're going down here, making sure this heel stays on the ground. We're not touching the ground with our hands at all to help us with our support. And we're coming back up. Boom. Other side. If that one's too difficult for you, you're gonna be right here, getting yourself a nice base. Boom. Sinking into a squat position, bringing your hips forward, making sure your chest remains up, horse stance. As with any calisthenics workout, you know exactly how we gotta finish this off. It's gonna be the wall handstand. Got myself a nice wall here for support. Gonna kick up. And now that I'm doing this, I'm making sure that my shoulders are over my hands. I'm pointing my toes and squeezing my thighs together. You should be able to talk in a handstand. If you cannot talk, then you're not breathing correctly. That's all today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strict form only.